The anonymous player survey just named a new most overrated player in the NBA. Guys can say how they really feel behind closed doors, and can you believe it? Tyrese Haliburton is most overrated? Why? I mean, the last few years have been dominated by Rudy Gobert and Trae Young as most overrated, and I hate to say it, I can kind of see that, but Hallie? Dude seems like such a nice kid, successful on the court. But when you dig into the details, it makes perfect sense. Outside of running a championship, Hallie has had one of the best years in basketball history. But I will be honest about the first round so far. A lot of the West series have been awesome. A lot of the East, kind of a dud. But I have a lot of fun no matter what game I'm watching when I'm playing Pick'em on Underdog. I pick higher or lower for whatever stats or whatever games I'm going to be watching that night. With a little action on the line, it makes every game that much more fun. And I can win some money. A lot when I'm playing their game streaks. If I stack 11 wins in a row, up to 1,000 x your cash. So let me give you my 2 picks for tonight. First up is Stephen Curry, lower on his points, and then Evan Mobley, lower on his points, rebounds, and assists. And best of luck if you're tailing those picks. Check out this map to see if Underdog's available in your area. States like Texas, California, or Florida with their game champions. If it's your first time signing up, good timing by you in the playoffs. But use the promo code AMHOOPS. It helps the channel like nothing else. Plus, you get up to $1,000 in bonus cash and a special free pick. If you don't believe me, check this out. December makes the NBA Cup final while dominating teams like Boston and Milwaukee. February, not just named an All-Star, but All-Star starter. Early May, All-NBA, which triggered a $40 million bonus in his contract. Later that month, East Finals, and in August, part of Team USA won a gold medal. I mean, you would think he is one of the best players alive. Not other NBA players though. So why do they not respect his game? Well, let's start with the good stuff before we get to the bad, because he's an all-star for a reason. If the defense is lazy on their coverages or they give him too much space off the dribble, Hallie's gonna pick up and rise up with no hesitation. Look at how the Wizards are gonna switch this screen. And from 30 feet, Tyrese has no problem gathering the ball with his right hand and quickly getting his feet set into his unorthodox looking jumper. But also, he's got the footwork and ball control to create more separation. Watch him here lower his shoulder and attack down toward the top of the key to then take one dribble and organize his feet behind the line. And off the dribble, Hallie's also got a couple of go-to step backs in his bag. I like this move here, where Tyrese is first gonna get to his push cross to his right, then slide the ball back through to tap dance, create enough space for him to rise up. However, Hallie's ball handling is the biggest limiting factor in his on-ball creation. Take this play for example. Look how bladed his defender's stance is, with his hips squared up to the sideline. From this spot, Hallie has a clear driving angle to his left, but instead he forces the ball across and gets his pocket picked. And that limited handle also plays a big factor in Hallie's pick and roll game. So he often panics and gets sped up by double teams. Here, if the defense blitzes or puts 2 on the ball when Hallie comes off, his instincts are to immediately pick up and look to pass, instead of keeping his dribble alive and absorbing the double team. And Hallie's shallow game off the dribble really gets exposed when teams switch and defend him straight up. If his initial burst here to the rim gets cut off, there's pretty much no other counters in his game, which leads to either an off-balance shot or a turnover. So now imagine being an NBA player thinking, this dude isn't better than me. I could easily beat this guy one-on-one, and he is making twice as much money than me? He's being named to the Team USA squad, winning a gold medal? This is about so much more than just making the conference finals last year. I think most people, when they saw this overrated thing, they were like, yeah, Pacers made the East Finals, guys resent that. No, it is a whole list of things. Like the highest paid player is Stephen Curry, then Joel Embiid, Nikola Jokic, all MVPs. But Hallie is paid the same as Anthony Edwards, way higher on the list than Kyrie Irving, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, and Donovan Mitchell. I will bet players respect Tyrese Maxey over him. Tyrese is number 37, and Tyrese didn't get a sniff for the Olympic team. But that is a huge problem. The Olympics is like a very exclusive club for only the best NBA players. Guys can stomach like LeBron or KD over them, But Tyrese Haliburton, I guarantee seeing him on that gold medal podium made a bunch of guys angry. And you can call it jealousy, but players think that Hallie just got too much too soon. But they also said that the most underrated guy in the NBA is Cade Cunningham. How can a #1 pick be underrated? Because people started to turn on Cade. Bust Cunningham is the biggest fraud since Anthony Bennett. Fraud Cunningham is a losing player. Cade can't lead a team. Oh, but that's just randos on Twitter. No, smart analysts like Kevin O'Connor use the B word.
He's good, he's solid, but he's not #1 pick expectations. He's a solid player. Is this guy a bust? Oh, wait a minute. He's an all-NBA talent.
That is serious doubt, but NBA players knew the truth. The Pistons drafted Cade and got worse every year, from 23 wins to 17 to 14. No wonder people started to doubt their best player. But this season, not only did they get things right, but Cade led the way. He was 9th in the NBA in scoring at 26.1 points a game. 4th in assists, 9.1. Dude was a double threat to score or play make. Defenses didn't know how to defend him, which made a first All-Star game for Cade. So where was this the entire time? Well, an underrated storyline about his career has been health. It turns out Cade has never passed that 65-game threshold until this year. Year 2 played just 12 games with a broken shin. Year 3 played 62 with various knee issues. Health overall was actually a big reason that the Pistons grabbed the #6 seed. It's really good to see Cade finally getting his props. But here's a look at the other questions that NBA players answered. They easily think SGA is the MVP by a mile over Nikola Jokic. It doesn't matter that Jokic is the 3rd player to average a triple-double for a season. Players like SGA's overall performance. One guy said, you gotta go with Shea. It's the #1 team in the West, and the way he's been doing it has been very impressive. He's taken those young guys to another level. But I would argue it's the exact opposite. Shea's teammates are so much better than Denver. It makes Joker's talent that much more valuable. They picked the Celtics as the NBA champion, OKC 2nd, Cavs 3rd, not much surprise there. But who is the face of the NBA 5 years from now? Almost everyone agrees Victor Wembanyama, but his blood clot has some people second guessing. Maybe Anthony Edwards, SGA? Well, there is one thing you really need to be face of the league. In the 80s, it was Bird and Magic, 90s, Michael Jordan, 2000s, Shaq and Kobe, 2010s, LeBron, and 2020s till now, it's LeBron and Steph. But do you notice anything? That is a combined 31 NBA championships. You need to win. So anyone claiming Anthony Edwards needs to show how he's going to win championships in Minnesota. So outside of Wemby, I would have to go with SGA, which actually isn't a great sign for NBA ratings. Best coach was OKC's Mark Daigneault. Best organization was the Warriors. Worst organization was the Hornets. But which player would you least like to fight? James Johnson for a 4th straight year in a landslide. This dude barely plays anymore, but he's got a 2nd-degree black belt in karate, has a 27-0 undefeated record in kickboxing and MMA. Apparently, when he retires, dude wants to be a pro fighter, but until then, no current player wants to test him. But I am surprised that the Sacramento Kings didn't get worst organization. They just fired their GM, who is responsible for breaking their playoff drought record of 16 years. But did he have it coming? I mean, there were some questionable moves recently in Sacramento. Well, the truth actually proves why the Kings are the most dysfunctional franchise in the NBA.